Oh shoot, it's the wrong one. Let me change that real quick.
Is it?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna plug these in. So ambiance. Nice ambiance. There we go. Ah, shoot.
I'm trying to look up how to be a superhero.
How do you pronounce it again? I can't.
Is it like Shazam? Shazam. That's what it is. You okay back there?
Yeah. Don't say that again, okay?
What, Shazam? I mean, that's the name of the movie. I thought I was supposed to say it. You asked me, you know?
Please don't.
Did you get the one that's spelled right? It's Shazam. Kyle?
Isn't it great having the two Marvel fans go see a DC movie?
I think it's the best. I think the fans love it.
I'm sure. We both saw Shazam, obviously.
Shazam!
We're gonna go ahead and start our spoiler-free review first, and then of course you'll get the spoilers after, like we do.
Always.
Zachary Levi's great. He always has been. He is kind of childlike to begin with. He's got a great personality, and it shines on screen. And I was expecting to see him kind of overshine the other actor in this, and he doesn't.
And he didn't.
No.
There's
an equal balance between the kid and him in this movie. It was great writing. For DCEU, I'm impressed. It was, however, tonally way darker than they make it seem.
The trailer just leads you in a completely different direction. I'm okay with that because I get mad at trailers anyways, spoiling way too much and giving me the whole story. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect it. I'm okay with it. I love it.
The dialogue is very well written, and I did not feel that way about Aquaman, but I do feel that way about this movie. Lots of internal jokes that make fun of other tropes in the movie, which is great. Lots of surprises. Granted, I am not a DC fan, and I don't know squat about Shazam, other than that he was formerly Captain Marvel. And it's so funny that these two came out around the same time. They're both good. Back on this one, though.
Back on this one.
Same thing. Very solid.
Very solid. Good writing, good plot. They carried it out nicely. They carried it out strongly.
Very strongly.
Not just with the writing, but also with the acting.
The characters are incredibly likable.
Yep.
My heart was racing.
The empathy.
Terror ride at times.
Oh.
On the edge of your seat. Heart-wrenching. Very exciting. You feel quite a range of emotions with this movie. I was expecting it to just be a funny, silly little, like a few little dramatic moments and mostly hilarious.
And then just some comedy thrown at you.
Honestly, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. Especially for a character I never cared about.
It's a character that I didn't really care about because I didn't know too much about him. I came out of that movie giving a crap. Probably at least a 4.5, yeah.
And now we're getting into our spoiler-filled review, which means if y'all want to, like, Shazam out of here, go on and do so.
Get out of here, scat.
And before you do so, you're welcome to click on this link right above my head. We have lots of other good stuff for you to watch, so if you don't want this spoilered, yep.
Yes.
Do that thing. And we start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The movie is a very dark movie. The villain's backstory is already messed up to begin with. Holy crap, is his dad and his brother like the worst to him.
You're a boy, you're a man, you're not allowed to feel things, you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to, and it's just, and they're really terrible about it. Ugh.
I feel really bad for this little boy. This is horrible. The wizard Shazam deems him not worthy because he gives him to the eye of something.
I want to call it the eyes. It was right there in that moment though, like, you're never gonna be good enough. I was like, oh, this is the villain. I was like, you're a 10-year-old boy who gets told you're never gonna be good enough.
So then we jump forward in time to Billy Baxton.
Baston.
Baston?
Baston.
I don't know.
Idiot.
We see a little flash to his backstory where he's a little kid at a carnival. I love that they brought that full circle there. He can't find his mom.
They get separated and the cops find him. Don't worry, like, she'll come looking for you. They always do. Yeah. She never does.
Oh, it's so sad. So
instantly
then
put in the system.
We jump ahead in time where he's on the streets and he makes jokes of the cops, which was so great. You get a good sense of who he is as a character right off the get-go. Mind you, this is not Zachary Levi. This is the kid who Zachary Levi also plays at, and vice versa.
He's trying to run away to find his mom. Can you blame the kid? He knows that his mom's alive.
This isn't even the sad part of the movie.
We're like 15 minutes in.
He ends up in a foster home.
With some dope parents. God.
And all of the foster kids are so freaking cute. So Jack Dylan Grazer, who's the kid from It.
So great.
Who's on crutches. Oh, that kid's so good in this movie.
I really like him.
Freddie is his name?
Yes.
But he is a little bit tired of people treating him like crap. I just don't get it. Like, you're a handicapped kid. What kind of monster kid treats that kid like crap?
You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're a disabled foster kid. You've got it all.
I really love that approach of that dark humor, because here's this kid who's been struggling not only with a physical disability his whole life, but he's also been in a foster home. He's really just trying to protect himself.
Again, guys, this isn't even the sad part of the movie.
Yeah, like Dr. Thaddeus.
Boom.
Played by Mark Strong. His whole life dedicated himself to finding a way to get to this realm.
He has more than enough motive to be what he is. He's just extra psycho.
He made it seem like he was putting his money for like mental health research basically, but it's not that. He's just trying to get his answers. And he gets it, and he finds the key to get to that realm. And he gets the eye!
The very thing that he was kind of after that made him unworthy of Shazam's power to begin with. And then he knocks the wizard down, and you think that's the last we're gonna see of it.
And he's got the 7 deadly sins.
Shoves it in his eye.
That was such an insane shot. Takes in all of the 7 deadly sins. The statues crumble. They're unlocked. They get absorbed. And then there's just this really intense whoosh right into his freaking eyeball.
So he absorbs all of the strength and the power and walks off, leaving Shazam the wizard on the ground basically like hopeless.
Which is where then we pick up.
The handicapped kid gets hit literally by this truck. These
douchebag kids.
Who then beat him up for damaging their truck that they drove into him. What the? And then they decide to beat him up more outside of the truck.
Yeah.
And Billy starts to walk away like, this isn't my business.
He's like, it's not my problem. It's not my...
And then they mention...
What are you gonna do? Call your mommy? Oh, you can't because you don't have one.
Boom!
Man, sorry about that.
Switcheroo, he turns around and he just beats the crap out of him. They chase him down a subway, and they show this in the trailer, and the next thing you know...
I choose you as champion.
And then, poof, the door opens up and he's in a parallel world, walking off, really confused.
Like, what the heck?
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
But I don't know your name, sir.
Shazam.
Wait, for real?
Say it!
Okay! Shazam?
Shazam, the wizard, had seen enough and was like, you know what? I'm desperate. You're my only hope.
Oh, dear God. Let's hope he's good enough.
So the kid becomes Shazam when he says his name, very confused, and then he's horrified, and he gets himself out of there.
Which then we get Zachary Levi.
Yes. He shows up at the kitchen window.
While Freddy's
like,
whining about doing the dishes because he wants to find Billy. I can't find him because, oh, you can't run, can you, Freddy? And he's just like totally making fun of himself.
And they start experimenting to see what this all means, and
what does it mean to have this really cheesy looking
super cheesy
suit.
But I guess it works. What are you gonna do with that outfit?
He was trying to fly and trying to do other things, and then the electricity just came out, and Freddy's like, duh, it's right in front of us. It's right there.
They make references to Rocky.
He looks like he's 35. He's like, I'm gonna go get beer. They both take that swig and they're just like, ugh.
They save a woman who seems to be in need of help. But then it was so funny because she spent the entire time like, I've got this handled.
On lock. It was like, so good.
We're good, guys.
She was like, I pepper sprayed him. It's fine. And he was like, yeah, your purse though. And she was like, he never took it because I didn't let him. And I was like, yes, girl. Wow, you've got a handle on this, don't you? Like,
strong moments that they threw in those great jokes on social commentary, but also popular culture jokes. And they make references to Big in the movie when they go across this keyboard in the toy store.
Oh, it was so cute.
I was like, yes, they even put that in.
So cute.
Let's get back to Mark Strong. When he comes across his dad after he obtains the eye and becomes all powerful, he literally throws his brother out a God knows how many story building.
I literally felt my jaw drop, and then out of my peripheral vision could see Kyle's jaw also on the floor with mine.
Then he brings out the 7 deadly sins, and they start attacking the entire conference room of people.
Those guys are just going to their 9-to-5 job. They probably don't even like it there. Like, they got their coffee, like half asleep.
These aren't like evil thugs.
So scary, nasty, like
monster-esque
creatures,
slimy. They're straight up out of like the worst kind of horror slasher movie. Like, I understood why the Foster family is in this movie to be super over-the-top lovey-dovey, because we needed a balance somewhere.
Whoa!
So we get an introduction to him using his abilities and him being super evil, And then right away, we waste no time. The movie goes right into the action and has him find him.
Because the 7 deadly sins are like, yo, you're powerful, but there's another.
Every character in this movie figures things out immediately, which in some ways I could say is a weak point on it, but honestly, it's the best way to get right into the story.
Billy and Freddie, who were like having a fight and conflict.
And he asked Billy if he could show up at school and pretend to be his best friend, and he flakes on him instead. He like shows off for the public.
He's like shooting electricity from his hand.
Recklessly shoots a lightning bolt that comes out of the sky and shoots the tire out of a bus on a bridge and is hanging there. He comes and sort of saves them, and they give him all this
He
like...
saves them, but he almost killed a busload of people.
And then Mark Strong just shows up. Dude, this movie wasted no time. They do this whole fight scene, ends up going through the mall.
And Freddie was terrified and worried about him because he saw him getting the crap beat out of him, and he tries to find him. But then connect the dots, Dr. Thaddeus gets Freddie.
And they ultimately end up going to the foster home and holds them hostage while Billy's off going to meet his
trying to find his
mom.
mother.
And when he finds his mom was the most heartbreaking scene, because this whole time we think he's lost and he was lost as a child and the mom just couldn't find him. It turns out she intentionally abandoned him there because she was 17, she wasn't ready to be a parent, and she believed that the police could put him in a place that would leave him better off.
You know, it's me, I'm Billy, I'm your son. She steps out of the door and closes it behind her.
And says no one's at the door.
And that's such a moment, like, that's just even before the words are said. He's there to tell her,
I love you,
it's
Mom.
not your fault. I didn't mean to run away. I wasn't
says,
trying to run away.
And she's like, but you turned out okay and you're good?
You're fine though, right?
Right? Yeah, you're fine.
Well, and then that's when he gets the phone call that...
Yeah, and the phone call is, hey, you might want to come here.
Dr. Thaddeus being like, it's time to come home. And then you just hear Freddie in the background, supervillain! Supervillain! Dr. Thaddeus takes him into the lair.
Because he's got no choice. He's got to follow him and give him his powers, because if he doesn't, then his
family
foster
dies.
Siblings die. He's at the mercy of Dr. Thaddeus. Suddenly a batarang comes out. Cuts the back
slices
of his neck.
him right in the back of the neck.
And there's blood. We see him turn around. How?
And the moment the 7 deadly sins go back into his body, you see
heals
that
right back up.
It heals right up. So it's that moment of, okay,
we know how to
that's
get rid
how
of
we
him.
defeat him.
It was very clever. It was visual storytelling.
It was really
It wasn't
cool.
like on the nose telling us anything. It was just like blatantly obvious,
there it
visually
is.
explaining it.
Not having to use words,
So
not
great.
having to force
Loved
it. It was just there. And
So-
it was also so cute because his siblings, like...
came through the portal, which they didn't know how to get out of there. So then Billy takes the batarang and stabs him in the back while he doesn't have the 7 deadly sins in him yet. Falls over, and then they run off. Billy remembers that the first way he got out of there was just kind of closing his eyes, focusing on a place.
On the
and then
subway.
going there. Dr. Thaddeus
But
shows
a
up,
throw
and
like
he's
a
about
lightning-
to fry probably all of them. He focuses and he brings he and his foster siblings into a strip club. And then they're covering the little kid's eyes.
Little
and they're like,
Darla.
"Get outta
She's like,
here."
why do you have to cover my eyes?
And they run off down this alleyway and they find themselves at a fairground. And they're all kind of hiding amongst the people. So Dr. Thaddeus is like, that's fine. If you're not going to show yourself,
You fool.
I'm just going to
I'm gonna kill all the
everyone.
people.
I would never want little kids to see this movie,
Right.
actually, because I feel like it might be too much for younger
Little
children.
real. We're in the big boss fight
We're in the
now.
big boss fight, and then Mary, who's the oldest sister, who's very responsible, she figures out a lot of stuff on her own, and she's like, wait, guys, we just need to divide him. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's why he had the cut on the back of his neck. We just got to separate them.
We just have to separate the sins from him.
She draws their attention to them.
It's not a good idea because they all get swooped up. Just wind them up.
And I'm
You know?
horrified because I've seen what these things do, and they pick up these little, like, teeny kids.
He has to give up the power.
Then he remembers something that the wizard Shazam said to him at one point. If the wizard Shazam gave me the power, then I can give the power. All of my foster
Very
siblings.
worthy siblings who are so worthy.
They all put their hands on the staff, and then
He's
they
like,
go,
say my name, Billy. No.
the name that makes me
I
become
say
this thing.
Shazam!
Each one of the little kids was this.
The whole theater erupted in applause. It was pretty
amazing.
freaking cool.
So we had the team Shazam.
It's so fun to see these little kids.
Billy's like, there are 6 of these deadly sins, and
Why doesn't Envy come out to play?
don't you think you're good enough?
Oh, that's because the other 6 don't like him to come out to play because they know that he's not good enough.
They're
Bear.
both floating up in the sky, and then Envy's getting really pissed and
Hops out of his
himself,
face,
and then
and
he can't take it, so he flies out. Dr. Thaddeus has no longer got the powers or anything, and uses him to round up all of the other sins, and he literally just pulls the eye out of him and it becomes this orb.
The orb that it was originally.
All of the beings go right into the orb.
Oh, I could have anything I wanted.
Oh no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And he goes,
boom, here's this really awful, heart-wrenching, dark thing. And then, hey, we're just gonna also throw this really funny thing at you like 2 seconds later, too, real quick. And you're like, ah.
It's really very, very well-developed story. Characters, the villain is insanely good.
Oh!
Yeah, I was like, holy crap. With well-developed characters with their own kind of like tragic stories and everything.
Like personalities and growths and like...
It was so great. Bullies have been put in their place and all this good stuff happens. And we even get a cameo of Superman, but we don't show his face. Then we get this post-credit scene with Dr. Thaddeus in prison and
going cuckoo.
He's going cuckoo, just trying to find his way back into the world. We get this really creepy, weird voice coming from this little device, and then he gets close to this edge, and there's this little caterpillar worm guy
slug
with a little voice
box hanging around his neck, and like glasses.
No idea. Everyone's looking over at me, and I'm like, I don't freaking know.
I literally turned to Kyle and went, what? And he was like, no idea.
Mr. Mind?
DC has such interesting villains.
That's a good word for it. What?
The mind of like Hitler or something?
And he like has a telepathic link to things. I don't know.
Are we gonna have a crazy slug movie villain?
I kind of hope it happens for the sequel. The best thing DC can do right now is to basically straight up forget all of their other characters from the Justice League movie. Just kind of move on from them. They're doing now with this movie, in my opinion, what Marvel started to do. Because Marvel started with characters that were lesser known that people didn't really know or care about. Yeah. And they made them super strong. Who's Shazam?
Who the hell is Shazam?
They need some distance for a moment with most of those other characters.
We need to like take a step back and just like let some of the other ones
We'll see what they do with Wonder
Woman
1984. For a DCEU movie, I would give it a 5 out of 5. For a movie in general, I would give it a 4 out of 5. And that, I think, is being quite fair. We got all the good. Finally. I felt like the movie was strong across the board.
Yeah.
Not a good movie, a great movie. So go see it, you'll love it.
Go see it. DC fans.
Non-DC fans.
Go see it.
Non-superhero fans even. It's just a strong,
it's fun.
Great movie.
Ayo.
I believe we're going to see more of Mr. Mind. And we're going to see more Mark Strong because we opened it up for that. And we're going to get another villain too, I'm sure, for the following
And we're going to get more heroes.
Or the heroes are at least going to get new interesting abilities or something's going to happen.
I think the suits are going to stay lame. That's my fan theory. What's yours?
You know what? Screw it. What she said. What's up, fellow fans? If you like what you see here, make sure you like, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified of future episodes.
Join the fandom at patreon.com/fantheorytv for exclusive and early access to full-length reactions, unaired and unblocked episodes, and so much more.
You're curious. Admit it.
And that ain't no theory.